and let out a yawn as he got out of bed. What prank will I play today? Wondered Cheekio. Cheekio was always playing pranks and practical jokes, and was well known in the jungle for his antics.
A few weeks ago, Cheekio placed a mouse on Ellezina's desk. As Ellezina Elephant approached her desk, the mouse jumped.
Ah! There's a rat on my desk! Was that you, Cheekio? Screamed Ellezina as she ran out of the classroom. If there was any prank or mischief, Cheekio was never far away. Lizarov Lion let out a roar as he stretched his paws. I wonder what I will do today, said Lizarov. Lizarov was the most feared animal in the jungle. If Lizarov was strolling through the jungle, no animal dared to cross his path. I am king of the jungle. If anybody dare cross me, I will punish them severely. Himakoo, Hippo, Zebgaan Zebra and Ellezina Elephant were walking to the pool on the edge of the jungle. It's so hot today, said Himakoo as he wiped a bead of sweat from his face. I can't wait to get to the pool to cool off, replied Zebgaan as he drank water from his bottle. I'm all hot and sweaty, puffed Ellezina as she sprayed deodorant on herself. Suddenly, a huge roar was heard. All the birds in the trees flew away. How dare you try to cross my path, roared Lizarov as he advanced towards the three friends. The shaken friends turned around and in a panic raced away, looking over their shoulders every few seconds. The terrified three eventually came to a stop and caught their breath. High above them in the trees, a small squeaky voice was heard, which they immediately recognized as that of Cheekio. Having a race? Laughed Cheekio. Not now, replied Himakoo angrily. What's the problem? I've never seen you run so fast unless the dinner bell's ringing, smirked Cheekio. Lizarov is the problem. He's always bullying us, and he thinks it's funny, said Ellezina, catching her breath. Cheekio climbed down the tree and joined the rest of his friends. I'll teach Lizarov a lesson, said Cheekio proudly. The three friends looked at each other and then laughed out loud and rolled on the floor in hysterics at the thought of Cheekio taming Lizarov. That's the funniest thing you've said all year, said Ellezina as she choked on her laughter. Don't worry, I have a cunning plan, replied Cheekio defiantly. Cheekio was climbing the trees in the jungle when he saw a shadowy figure in the jungle under one of the trees. It was Lizarov, taking a nap in the shade of a tree.
I can see Lizarov,
whispered Cheekio to the three friends, who were following Cheekio from the ground, careful not to wake Lizarov. The three friends hid behind a bush to avoid being seen by Lizarov. Cheekio opened the bag he was carrying and pulled out a pair of scissors and began to cut Lizarov's mane. Carefully, Cheekio cut the entire mane and then pulled some paint and a brush from the bag. He slowly painted Lizarov's toenails with the paint. The colour was bright pink. Then Cheekio painted Lizarov's tail. As Cheekio turned away to join his friends in the laughter, he stepped on a twig. Snap! The twig broke and Lizarov jumped to life. Who is there? How dare you disturb my sleep? All four friends stood silent, then burst into laughter as they looked at Lizarov. How dare you laugh at me? I am king of the jungle, roared Lizarov in disbelief at the reaction of the four animals. Why are you laughing? Asked the confused Lizarov. Take a look in the mirror, your not-so-highness, laughed Cheekio. Lizarov was in shock. Lizarov made a giant leap and raced towards Cheekio. Cheekio reacted by racing away to avoid capture. Lizarov gave chase, and Cheekio ran as fast as he could. All the other animals that had gathered also joined in the chase to see Cheekio's fate. Cheekio ran through the jungle, with Lizarov chasing and the animals following. Stop! Roared Lizarov. No! Replied Cheekio. Cheekio made a big gap between himself and Lizarov. And shortly Lizarov could not see Cheekio. As Lizarov approached a small village, he saw a frog by a stream. "Did you see a monkey run this way?"
"Yes, he went that way,"
pointed a nervous frog. Lizarov went further and approached another village. There he saw a goat. "Did you see a monkey run this way?"
"Yes, he went that way,"
pointed a nervous goat. Cheekio was tiring. He saw a bench and sat down for a rest and hid behind a newspaper and sunglasses. Lizarov eventually approached the bench. "Did you see a monkey run this way?" asked Lizarov.
"Is that the monkey that cut Lizarov's mane and painted his tail and toenails pink?"
asked Cheekio with a grin on his face from behind the newspaper. "Oh no, it's in the papers. I'm a laughing stock," whimpered Lizarov, and he ran off. All the animals celebrated and cheered and held a feast in Cheekio's honor. Lizarov was never seen again for weeks. "You did it! You did it! You and your monkey games!" cheered the animals.
"It can't be. I've been good all week. There must be a problem with the batteries," said Himakoo in disbelief. Himakoo Hippo was a large animal. He had always been large. Even at an early age, Himakoo was always bigger than his friends. But this morning, he was disappointed. He had lost no weight. He had been on a diet all week, and the scales had shown no drop in weight. "Why can't I be slim like my friends, Cheekio Chimp and Zebgaan Zebra?" he asked himself. Himakoo took a long look in the mirror. "My dear friend Ellezina Elephant is the only person that is the same size as me. I wonder if she would be interested in doing a diet together." It was Saturday, and there was no school that day. Himakoo, Ellezina, Zebgaan and Cheekio had made plans to go to the cinema that afternoon. Himakoo was getting ready. He brushed his teeth, washed his face and sprayed some deodorant on himself. A final look in the mirror and then he was gone. Cheekio and Zebgaan were waiting at the entrance of the cinema. They had been there for several minutes. "Where are they?" asked Zebgaan impatiently. "Ellezina's always running late, but Himakoo is usually on time. Maybe they helped themselves to another bowl of cereal," laughed Cheekio. "That's enough," replied Zebgaan, unimpressed. "We will give them a few more minutes and then we'll wait for them in the picture hall," said Cheekio. Himakoo was walking quickly towards the cinema. In the distance, he could see the familiar shape of one of his friends. "Ellezina! Ellezina!" shouted Himakoo. "I thought I was late," said Ellezina, mocking Himakoo. Himakoo caught up and caught his breath. "Oh, we're both late, but I'm glad I got you on your own. There's something I wanted to ask you," said Himakoo in a soft voice. "What?" asked Ellezina, frowning slightly. "Oh, nothing. Let's get a move on. Cheekio and Zebgaan are probably already there," replied Himakoo, his tone sad. The cinema was in sight. Cheekio and Zebgaan had already gone inside and were met by Himakoo and Ellezina. The four friends had watched the film and were on their way out. They kept sneezing and blowing their noses. "Cheekio, why did you blow sneezing powder in the cinema?" asked Himakoo furiously. "It was just a bit of fun. I did not mean to blow all the powder, but I just could not help it," smirked Cheekio. "You spoiled a good film as usual," said an angry Ellezina. "Everybody in the cinema knew it was one of us that blew the sneezing powder. I could see them pointing," said Zebgaan as he blew his nose. The film was rubbish anyway, remarked Cheekio. We could not enjoy it for the sneezing, said Himakoo in disgust. I've acted in better films than that, said Cheekio proudly. You act? Name one film you've acted in, asked Himakoo curiously. Cheekio thought for a moment. You know the one with the ship that hit the iceberg? Yes, said Himakoo. When the ship begins to sink? Yes, said Himakoo and Zebgaan. When all the passengers fall into the sea? Yes, say Himakoo, Zebgaan and Ellezina. You see all the top hats lying on the water. Yes, get on with it, said Himakoo impatiently. I was under one of those hats, laughed Cheekio. You are crazy, said Himakoo, trying hard not to laugh. Remember, we are going swimming at the pool later, he added. Himakoo stayed closest to the pool, located on the edge of the jungle. It was a short distance, but it still took several minutes to get there, because there was plenty of weaving in and out of trees and bushes. You had to avoid the snakes and other ferocious animals, like tigers. The animal Himakoo feared the most was Lizarov. He was king of the jungle. He was huge and very ferocious. He had long claws and long, sharp teeth. He was very mean and used to pick on anybody who crossed his path. Eventually, Himakoo reached the pool. He placed his towel on a bush and made his way to the poolside. Oh, that feels great, said Himakoo as he dipped one leg into the pool. Himakoo began to swim. After about 10 lengths, Himakoo got out of the pool to rest and wait for his friends. Himakoo made his way to the bush to get the towel he had left. It was not there. Himakoo looked everywhere, but the towel had disappeared. I wonder if the wind blew the towel into the pool, Himakoo asked himself, looking confused. As Himakoo looked into the pool, he could see his reflection. But there was also another reflection in the water. Looking for this? It was Lizarov, holding the towel in his huge paw. Cheekio and Zebgaan were making their way to the pool. On their way, they met Ellezina, and the three friends walked happily in the warmth of the sunshine, looking forward to a dip in the cool pool. I can't wait to dive into the pool and try out my new goggles, boasted Cheekio. I'm just going to swim a few lengths and then relax by the poolside, said Ellezina. I think I will try the backstroke today, said Zebgaan, stretching his legs. The three friends were only a short distance away from the pool when they heard cries for help. They ran towards the sound of the cries and were horrified at what they saw. Himakoo was running back and forth along the poolside. Lizarov was preventing Himakoo from escaping. Help! Shouted Himakoo in desperation. How dare you try to run from me, you big hippopotamus! Roared Lizarov. Cheekio, Zebgaan and Ellezina looked on from behind a tree. They felt helpless. Lizarov was a big ferocious beast and boasted of being king of the jungle. Suddenly, Lizarov surged forward to attack Himakoo. Without thinking, Himakoo turned away and jumped. The only place for Himakoo to go was in the pool. As he jumped, Lizarov just missed Himakoo with his outstretched paw. Himakoo jumped high into the air. Lizarov looked up at Himakoo. The friends looked up at Himakoo from behind the tree. Then suddenly, Himakoo landed in the pool with a big splash. The splash sent the water high above the trees. When the water came down, it fell on everybody. I hate the water! Screamed Lizarov. Lizarov was soaking wet from head to tail. He looked a terrible sight. His long golden mane was all over the place. He slowly turned around and ran deep into the jungle, passing the others still hiding behind the tree. Himakoo carefully climbed out of the pool and dried himself with his towel. Where are your friends when you need them? Moaned Himakoo to himself. One by one, the three friends emerged from behind the tree. They were all soaking wet from the water. Sorry we're late, they said, shaking the water from themselves. How did you all get so wet? Asked Himakoo, looking confused. We saw all the action. We are so proud of you. Next time we see Lizarov approaching, we're going to throw you in the pool, laughed Cheekio. The four friends spent the rest of the evening enjoying themselves in the pool. Ellezina Elephant was standing in the bathroom in front of the mirror. She had just finished brushing her teeth and began washing her face. Ooh, that water's so hot, complained Ellezina. She carefully blew on the hot water until it was a nice lukewarm temperature. That's much better, she said with a big smile. As she finished washing her face, she washed her ears and her enormous trunk. I wish I did not have a big nose and big teeth, moaned Ellezina, with a disappointed look on her face. Although Ellezina was a lovely, bubbly animal, she was very insecure about her appearance. She tried everything to hide her imperfections. Makeup, hats, and even huge sunglasses, but she could not disguise that she had enormous teeth and a big nose. She quickly got ready and had a bowl of delicious cereal for her morning breakfast and hurried to school. On the way to school, she ran hastily and caught up with her friends, Cheekio Chimp, Himakoo Hippo, and Zebgaan Zebra. Hi, Ellezina. You're late today, but at least you're running, which makes a change, laughed Cheekio. Leave her alone, snapped Himakoo. I'm only joking. You all know me. It's what I do, replied Cheekio, with a smirk on his face. How come you never met us at the corner shop, like we agreed yesterday? Asked Zebgaan. I was running late. I just could not get my face to look right. It was just a bad hair day. A girl thing. You won't understand, replied unembarrassed Ellezina. What's the problem, Ellezina? Is it your... But before Zebgaan could finish his sentence, Ellezina burst into tears. It's my nose. It's too large. And my teeth are too big too, as well as my ears, whimpered poor Ellezina, wiping a tear from her eye. Oh, that's enough. Your nose suits you. Your tusks and teeth make you look fierce, and your ears are fine, replied Himakoo, comforting his friend. Cheekio imagined what Ellezina would look like with different noses of other animals. First a pig, then an anteater, and finally, giraffe. He quietly sniggered at the thought. Anybody run into Lizarov lately? Asked Himakoo. Lizarov Lion was a huge, ferocious animal. He boasted to be king of the jungle, which he was, and all animals feared him. No animal would dare cross his path, and he played on the animals' fears. He was a big bully. No, not recently, replied Zebgaan and Cheekio together. What about you? Asked Himakoo curiously, looking at Ellezina. There was no reply. She has big ears and can't hear a thing, whispered Cheekio with a grin on his face. Stop it, cried Zebgaan, looking angrily at Cheekio. Stop what? Asked a confused Ellezina. Everybody kept quiet. They all knew Ellezina had something on her mind, and they knew it was about her appearance and her insecurity. She also had a dentist's appointment that afternoon and was very nervous. They all approached the school gates, and the sound of the bell signalled the start of their lessons. They made it just in time. It was another hot day at the school. It had been a very hot summer, and the sound of the bell could not have come any sooner to signal the end of another day at school. The 4 friends made their way out of the school gate and through the jungle to their homes. "I have to go to the dentist today," said Ellezina nervously. "We know," replied the others. "Do you want us to go with you?" asked Himakoo. "No, but thank you. I'm going to take a shortcut by the pool. Anyway, it is only a checkup," replied Ellezina nervously. "Okay, take care," replied Himakoo. "See you tomorrow at school. Remember to meet at the corner shop if you can get there in time," smirked Cheekio. "I hope she'll be okay. It's a jungle out there," Cheekio added. The friends began to walk deep into the jungle. A cool breeze whistled through the trees. It was a perfect day. The temperature had dropped, and the friends walked comfortably towards their homes. Suddenly, the calm was replaced by a frog hopping past them. He was in a hurry and looked very frightened. Suddenly, more animals ran past. Soon there was a stampede of animals running for their lives. "What is going on?" asked Zebgaan. As a mouse ran past, she shouted, "Lizarov is attacking Ellezina at the pool." Ellezina was backing up towards the pool. Lizarov was advancing. All the animals had fled. Inch by inch, Ellezina retreated. Step by step, Lizarov advanced. "Leave me! Oh, please leave me!" whimpered a frightened Ellezina. "How dare you cross my path!" roared Lizarov. "I was just going..." Before Ellezina could finish, Lizarov let out a roar. "I am king of the jungle!" roared Lizarov. Please let me go! Let me go!" cried Ellezina. "First I have to teach you a lesson," said Lizarov. "You and your big nose, ears and teeth. You are not a very pretty sight, and you dare show your face in my jungle," taunted Lizarov. Lizarov's claws were now visible. They were long and came to a sharp point at the tip. Lizarov opened his mouth, and Ellezina could see his teeth. They too were long and sharp in a big mouth, on a big face, with a golden mane covering the head. A ferocious sight. Suddenly, Ellezina lost her balance by tripping on a log by the pool. Lizarov leapt forward to strike Ellezina with his huge paw. Himakoo, Cheekio and Zebgaan hurried towards the pool as fast as their legs could carry them. They were followed by some of the other animals. Ellezina had been seen near the pool when Lizarov began his assault. "I hope she is safe," said Himakoo in a panic. "I wish I had not mocked Ellezina," said a distressed Cheekio. "We're not far away. We should be there soon," said Zebgaan. As they approached, they saw Ellezina clutching a gigantic log between her trunk and her tusks. She was striking Lizarov with the weapon. Lizarov ducked out of the way of the final blow and retreated into the darkness of the jungle, limping as he went. "I can't believe it! Ellezina! You beat Lizarov!" shouted Himakoo with joy. Ellezina was bruised and shaken, but was able to force a smile. "Where were you guys?" she asked. "You made us proud, Ellezina," said Himakoo admirably. "I wonder if Lizarov would come back after that embarrassment," asked Zebgaan, looking in the direction Lizarov ran. "It would take a lot more than a whack on the head with a log for Lizarov to leave the jungle," replied Cheekio. Cheekio went to investigate the log. "Looks like your teeth are fine. Forget the dentist. I can't even move that log," laughed Cheekio. "Maybe my nose and teeth are useful after all," laughed Ellezina. All the animals laughed and cheered. It was a very hot afternoon, and all the animals were warming up in the school sports field. It was sports day. It was the final race of the afternoon, the 100-meter sprint. Himakoo Hippo had already won the egg and spoon race, and Cheekio Chimp had won the sack race, grazing his head as he had slipped on the sack. Unfortunately, Ellezina Elephant had not won a single race. "I can't wait for the race to start. I'm going to win my first race," said Zebgaan confidently. "This is my worst event, but I'm glad I've already won a race," said Himakoo, stretching his legs. "I have not won a race at all, and the 100-meter sprint is the final race. It's obvious that Zebgaan will win this race," said a dismayed Ellezina. "I prefer climbing to running. Why can't the school have a climbing race? I would win every time," smiled Cheekio. The teacher summoned the pupils to keep quiet and line up. "On your marks, get set, bang!" All 4 friends pushed off on their legs and ran as fast as they could, huffing and puffing as they ran. The finish line was in sight, and as expected, Zebgaan crossed it first. He was followed by Cheekio. A few seconds later, Ellezina crossed the line and was met by Himakoo moments later. "Will the winner of the race please come forward and collect his medal?" said the teacher firmly. The 4 friends did not hear the teacher because they were deep in conversation. "Excuse me," shouted the teacher. "You, with the stripes, come and collect your medal," she added. Zebgaan was very embarrassed at the mention of the word stripes. He disliked being singled out because of the stripes on his body. Zebgaan collected his medal, but his happiness had turned into sadness because of one word. The 4 friends were on their way home after an exhausting sports day. Zebgaan was quiet, not joining in the conversation the others were having. "What's up, Zebgaan?" asked Himakoo curiously. "Nothing," replied Zebgaan in an unconvincing tone. "You won the sprint again. You should be over the moon," said Cheekio. "It's not that," snapped Zebgaan. "Was it what the teacher said?" asked Ellezina. Ellezina was normally taunted about her large nose, teeth and ears, so she could sense Zebgaan was upset by a single word the teacher had unknowingly said. "Yes, I hate my stripes. They make me look odd. I stand out like a sore hoof. Even my pyjamas have stripes," howled Zebgaan, shaking his head. "But you suit the stripes. You would look odd if you had fur or snakeskin or spots," said Cheekio, looking at the sky and picturing Zebgaan in the skins. "Okay, but I hate being called stripes. Besides, the stripes are of no use to me." Himakoo, Cheekio and Ellezina kept quiet the rest of the way home. It was Saturday morning. Zebgaan felt stiff and his legs felt like heavy weights were attached to them. He stretched his legs and hurried out of his house and made his way through the jungle to meet his friends. Zebgaan put the events of the day before behind him and concentrated on the day ahead. "I feel good today," said Zebgaan with a smile. Zebgaan met the others a few moments later. "There you are. We have been here for 20 minutes, said Himakoo, getting up from the ground. "I'm on time, I said 9:30, replied Zebgaan, looking at his watch, which had apparently stopped. "Oh, dear. Sorry, I think I need a new battery," added Zebgaan, tapping his watch. "I am glad you're late. I am so tired from yesterday that I can only manage a short jog today," said Ellezina, letting out a yawn. "Me too. I'm exhausted," said Cheekio as he climbed down a tree. "Okay, let's get started," said Zebgaan in a hurry. "Let me put my house key behind this tree. It keeps poking me. I'll collect it on my way back," replied Cheekio. They all stood in a bunch and began to jog. After several minutes, the bunch became separated into two groups, Zebgaan and Cheekio in front, with Himakoo and Ellezina behind. "Stop!" shouted Cheekio at Zebgaan. Zebgaan looked over his shoulder and came to a stop. Cheekio caught up with Zebgaan and was followed a few moments later by the two trailing friends. "Oh, I can't go on," puffed Cheekio. "Nor can I," said Himakoo and Ellezina together as they lay on the ground. I must be super fit. I don't feel tired one bit, boasted Zebgaan. The friends called it a day and walked the rest of the way home. I feel like finishing the jog. You go rest and I'll meet you guys later, by the pool, said Zebgaan. The 3 tired friends made their way home. As the friends were walking home, Himakoo noticed a graze on Cheekio's forehead, just above his brow. How did that happen? Asked Himakoo curiously. What? Replied Cheekio, hiding the graze with his hand. That graze? The one you are hiding, snapped Himakoo. Himakoo and Ellezina looked at the graze. Cheekio scratched his head. Oh, that graze! On my way home after sports day, I was attacked by 6 huge gorillas, said Cheekio, trying to hold his laughter. Really? Heavens! gasped Ellezina. Why didn't you tell us that earlier? Asked Himakoo, sensing a fib. I did not want to alarm you, replied Cheekio. Well, what happened? Asked Ellezina with great interest. If you must know, the gorillas came out of nowhere. I was surrounded, but I defeated all of them, boasted Cheekio, blowing on his fingernails and rubbing them on his chest. How did you get the graze? Asked Himakoo curiously. As I was walking away from the attack, I tripped over a log and hit my head on a rock, replied Cheekio, who had to turn away as he was close to tears. Himakoo and Ellezina looked at each other, but remained quiet. Cheekio reached for his trouser pocket to get a tissue to wipe his tears of laughter, when he realised something. We have to go back, said Cheekio with worry on his face. Why? Asked Himakoo and Ellezina. I forgot to collect my key from behind the tree, replied Cheekio. Okay, let's go, said Himakoo with discontent in his voice. The 3 friends headed back. Zebgaan was enjoying the lovely, cool afternoon as he jogged through the jungle. I might look odd, but I can run, shouted Zebgaan, smiling in the quiet of the jungle. Unknown to Zebgaan, there was a dark figure watching from within the tall grass. Yes, you do look odd, and you had better run, roared a voice. From within the tall grass, the figure appeared before Zebgaan. It was huge. It had a huge body, and attached to the body was a huge head. The head had big green eyes, a big nose, and below a mouth with the sharpest teeth in the jungle. With a swish of its long tail, the ferocious figure advanced towards Zebgaan. It was Lizarov Lion. Help! cried Zebgaan. No one can help you now, roared Lizarov. You are all alone. In the distance, Himakoo, Cheekio and Ellezina pricked up their ears. Did you hear that? asked Himakoo, looking alarmed. Help! Help! came the cries. It's Zebgaan! He's in trouble! called out Cheekio, who had climbed a tree to get a better view. They all ran towards the cries and hid behind some large rocks. There they could see Lizarov taunting Zebgaan. Run, Zebgaan, run! came the voices from behind the rocks. At that moment, Zebgaan ran as fast as he could, faster than any race he had taken. Lizarov chased Zebgaan. The friends appeared from behind the rocks and followed, keeping a safe distance from Lizarov. Zebgaan ran past the trees, he ran past the bushes, and he ran past the streams. Lizarov was chasing and was catching up with Zebgaan. So you think you are fast? You can't outrun Lizarov. I am king of the jungle, roared the beast. Lizarov was only a few inches away from Zebgaan when Lizarov stretched out his paw to hit Zebgaan's legs to throw him off balance. At that moment, Zebgaan quickly changed direction and ran into the tall, long grass. Lizarov kept running forward and skidded to a stop. Lizarov turned around and looked into the direction of the tall, long grass. Zebgaan had vanished. How could this be? asked Lizarov, scratching his head. How could this be? asked the 3 friends a safe distance away. Where are you? roared Lizarov. There was no reply. Lizarov made his way into the tall, long grass, but could not find Zebgaan. He looked for several minutes and eventually gave up the search. Lizarov hung his head low and disappeared into the deep, dark jungle.
Zebgaan, where are you?
whispered Cheekio.
You are safe. Lizarov has gone,
said Ellezina, looking over her shoulder, making sure. Slowly, the tall, long grass moved from side to side, but there was no sign of Zebgaan. Then the grass parted in the middle, and there, in the centre, a distorted Zebgaan was standing, looking surprised. Everyone was surprised.
We could not see you in the grass,
said Himakoo in amazement.
You seem to blend in with the shades and colour of the grass, like magic,
said Cheekio with his mouth wide open.
You have found your secret weapon. You appear to be invisible in the long, tall grass,
smiled Himakoo. Zebgaan was very happy. He was with his best friends and safe.
I might not be able to outrun Lizarov, but I can certainly outsmart Lizarov,
said Zebgaan with a smile. All the friends laughed.
How's your head? It looked quite sore when you fell in the sack race yesterday,
asked Zebgaan. Cheekio pretended not to hear. Himakoo and Ellezina looked at Cheekio and laughed. The four friends made their way home, just in time for tea. The sun was shining. It was a hot day, and the sun's rays were lighting up patches of ground in the dark jungle. Under a tree, a huge figure lay sleeping, shielded from the sun in the shade. It was Lizarov Lion. Lizarov was king of the jungle. He kept law and order in the jungle and punished anybody who crossed his path. A small spider was crawling on the leaves that had fallen from the trees. It crept towards Lizarov and climbed up the huge body, thinking it was a rock. As the spider moved across Lizarov's body, it passed the huge head, which contained razor-sharp teeth, and made its way towards the tail. Before the spider could move any further, Lizarov swung his long tail and connected with the spider and sent it flying through the air. Lizarov sprung to his feet and shook his head vigorously to awaken from his nap.
Who disturbed me from my sleep?
Roared Lizarov as he looked around in anger.
I am king of the jungle. If I find out who disturbed my sleep, I will punish them severely. Come out from your hiding place, and I will let you off with a warning,
he added. There was no reaction. Lizarov looked in every direction, but could see no one.
I've a good idea who might have done this, and when I see any of those 4 misfits, I will make them pay, thought Lizarov.
The teacher was busy writing on the blackboard. It was mathematics, a subject not high on the likes list in Cheekio's book. Cheekio Chimp was always up to mischief. Pranks, jokes and misbehaviour were a way of life for Cheekio. Ellezina Elephant sat beside Cheekio. She was a keen scholar. Peering over her spectacles, she never took her eyes off the teacher. Behind sat Himakoo Hippo and Zebgaan Zebra. Cheekio was very bored and let out a yawn.
Oh, this is so boring. What good is maths when all I do all day is climb trees?
Asked Cheekio as he stared out of the open classroom window.
Shush,
said Ellezina as she kept her eyes on the blackboard.
I need to liven things up here, otherwise I'm going to fall asleep, thought Cheekio.
Cheekio reached into his school bag, hanging over his chair, and pulled out a small box. He carefully opened the small box and reached inside. Cheekio let out a giggle and quickly looked up to see if the teacher was looking. She wasn't. He slowly picked something up from inside and gently placed it in the palm of his hand. "Let's have a bit of fun," smirked Cheekio to his hand. Cheekio stroked his furry friend and placed the small mouse behind his book, which he had propped up and opened, shielding it from the teacher. "Who can answer the following problem?" asked the teacher as she pointed at the equation on the blackboard. Cheekio was playing with the mouse, not paying attention. Ellezina had her hand raised high into the air. "Stand up, Cheekio," said the teacher with anger in her tone. Cheekio looked up at the teacher and stood up. "Do you know the answer?" asked the teacher. Cheekio thought for a moment. 4.5, replied Cheekio half-heartedly. "Tell him, Ellezina," said the teacher, nodding her head. "It's 24! screamed Ellezina as she jumped back from her desk. Cheekio looked for his furry friend from behind his book, but he was gone. Ellezina ran from her desk and out of the classroom, shouting at Cheekio as she ran. "Ah, there's a rat on my desk! Was that you, Cheekio?" she screamed. "Whatever is up with Ellezina?" asked a confused teacher. "Your maths lessons are getting harder," smirked Cheekio. "That was a terrible prank you played on me," said Ellezina in disgust. "It wasn't me. The mouse must have run onto your desk," smiled Cheekio. The four friends were on their way home from school. It was a mild day, and the sun was trying to shine from behind the clouds. "You should behave yourself, especially in class," moaned Himakoo. "You are lucky the teacher did not see the mouse. She would have known only you could have brought that vile animal into the classroom," said Zebgaan, as he looked at Cheekio in disbelief. The four entered deeper into the jungle. Their homes were not that far away. Anyway, how come a big, huge, enormous animal like Ellezina is afraid of a small, tiny, teensy mouse? asked Cheekio as he scratched his head. Three heads turned and looked at Ellezina, walking at the rear. "They are so small. I'm afraid they might run inside my trunk," replied Ellezina in embarrassment. "I am not small. Are you afraid of me?" Four heads turned and looked straight ahead. There, in front of the four friends, stood a figure that would frighten even the bravest of them all. Claws were visible. They were long and came to a sharp point at the tip. As the figure spoke, you could see his teeth. They too were long and sharp, in a big mouth, on a big face, with a golden mane covering the head. A ferocious sight. As the sun came out from behind the clouds, it lit up the five animals like a spotlight. The figure was Lizarov. Lizarov circled the four friends. The four huddled together, keeping their eyes focused on Lizarov, looking for an opportunity to escape.
"I've been looking for you,"
roared Lizarov.
"I thought I might catch one of you, but instead I have all four,"
boasted Lizarov with a grin.
"What have we done?"
asked Himakoo nervously.
"Silence!"
roared Lizarov.
"Have you no respect? I am king of the jungle. Call me your highness or sir,"
he added, holding his head high.
"What have we done, your highness?"
asked Himakoo again.
"One of you disturbed me when I was taking a nap,"
replied Lizarov.
"When, sir?"
asked Zebgaan.
"Yesterday morning,"
replied Lizarov.
"We were all at school, your highness. It must have been somebody else,"
said Ellezina, lowering her head.
"I don't believe you. Anyway, I have to punish you as a message to others,"
roared Lizarov.
"Please, your highness, don't punish us. We are defenseless and weaker than you. Please let us go,"
begged Ellezina. Lizarov stopped circling the four and looked at Ellezina. He went into deep thought. He remembered when he was a small cub. The four friends looked at one another and decided this was the time to make their escape. Lizarov was looking at the ground, unaware of their bid to escape. Just as Himakoo turned to run, he slipped on a pebble and fell to the floor. Zebgaan, Cheekio and Ellezina ran into Himakoo and fell flat on their backs. Lizarov quickly gathered his senses and stood tall in front of the pile of friends.
Stop! I have something I must tell you,
said Lizarov. Lizarov sat in front of the four friends. The four sat in a line and listened to Lizarov.
I have something I must tell you,
said Lizarov, his tone unusually soft. The friends listened, paying attention to the person at the front. More respect went to this ferocious beast than the school teacher in the classroom.
I too was a victim of bigger animals when I was younger. I was a small cub, and older lions would pick on me. My mother used to say that one day I would be king of the jungle, and nobody would ever stand in my way. I grew taller and stronger as the years went by. I was taught that to maintain honor and law and order in the jungle, I had to discipline anyone who broke any of the laws. Fear was a weapon,
said Lizarov as he turned to each friend. The friends listened.
Because of my role in the jungle, I found it hard to make friends. Animals used to run away when they saw or heard me approaching. In fact, I have no friends,
said Lizarov, sounding unhappy. Lizarov looked at the four friends, sitting and listening intently. He turned away from them and looked into the deep jungle.
I am king of this jungle, and you are all my servants. What I would like are friends, not servants. I could go sunbathing, running, and play all the fun games everybody plays. Instead, I have to maintain this image to keep order. If only I had friends, even one friend. So, I would like to spare all of you from punishment, if you would be my friends,
asked Lizarov, as he continued looking into the deep jungle. There was no reply.
I would not chase you or make your lives difficult if you just became my friends. So what do you say?
Asked Lizarov. There was still no reply.
Speak up! There is no need to be afraid,
whispered Lizarov. A small spider climbed on Lizarov's back as he sat. With a swish of his tail, he threw the spider off. Lizarov jumped to his feet and realized what had disturbed him from his nap earlier. He turned around to announce the news to his new friends.
You cheeky devils! Wait till I catch you!
Roared Lizarov. The four friends had gone. Mars. There are planets of all sizes in our solar system. The word solar represents the sun, which is the star that provides all the planets with heat energy to support life. On Earth, we are just in the right place to support life. It is neither too hot nor too cold. It's perfect, said the science teacher as he scribbled on the blackboard. Cheekio Chimp let out a yawn and turned towards Ellezina Elephant. I wish there was life in this classroom. I keep falling asleep, chuckled Cheekio. Ellezina replied quietly, Don't be so rude. Listen and you might learn something. Cheekio reached into his school bag and placed his empty sweet wrappers onto his desk behind the science book, which he had propped up. He carefully scrunched the wrappers into small balls and placed them on his desk in the line of fire to the bin, which was sitting adjacent to the teacher's desk.
What are you doing?
Whispered Himakoo Hippo, who was watching from his desk behind Cheekio.
You're going to get caught and get into big trouble,
said Zebgaan Zebra uncomfortably.
Don't worry, I'm just tidying up,
chuckled Cheekio. Cheekio took aim and flicked the rolled-up wrappers towards the bin. The first one missed.
Almost,
said Cheekio with excitement in his voice. He flicked another. It too missed by a few inches.
That was close,
smirked Cheekio. After several attempts and many near misses, the bin was surrounded by empty rolled-up sweet wrappers. There was one more left.
If I miss this one, I am going to have to reload, which means I need to eat a sweet from my bag,
said Cheekio, grinning as he aimed. The teacher carried on writing. The school animals kept listening. Cheekio took aim. Cheekio pulled back his trigger finger, closed one eye, took his final aim, and then fired. The wrapper flew into the air like a cannonball and approached its target. The bin was waiting with its mouth wide open, waiting to be fed. As if in slow motion, the small ball hit the rim of the bin, bounced up for the whole class to see, and then fell and disappeared from sight into the jaws of the goal.
Direct hit!
Shouted Cheekio as he jumped up with his arms raised in jubilation. At that moment, the teacher swung round and threw his chalk onto the floor.
Have you been eating in class again?
Said the teacher angrily. Cheekio nodded his head.
No, sir.
Bring me your sweets. I am going to confiscate them as I always do. When are you ever going to learn? Said the teacher sternly. The teacher placed the sweets into his desk, with all the other confiscated sweets from earlier encounters. Cheekio sat back down and gazed out of the classroom window.
So, there are a lot of planets out there. There must be life on other planets, surely,
thought Cheekio as he scratched his chin. Cheekio looked and studied the chart on the wall, displaying all the planets, and then looked out into the sunshine.
The planets must be so far away I can't see one,
he exclaimed.
If there were others living on the planets, I wonder what they would look like,
wondered Cheekio, as he gazed further out of the classroom window into the mysterious sky and beyond.
I wish I was an astronaut. I would visit all the planets and make new discoveries, meet new aliens, and then tell the world my story.
Cheekio imagined himself as an astronaut, his white spacesuit, boots and goldfish bowl helmet. He looked and felt superior.
It will soon be time for launch,
thought Cheekio, as he nervously made his way to the rocket. He was followed by his astronaut colleagues, Ellezina, Himakoo, and Zebgaan. They climbed the steep staircase. One by one they climbed into the rocket. They carefully sat in their seats. Cheekio and Ellezina sat at the front, with Himakoo and Zebgaan directly behind. They put on their seatbelts and waited for the countdown. There was a sudden sound of thunder, and the rocket began to shudder as the fuel ignited for liftoff.
This is it, teen. Get ready for the journey of your life,
said Cheekio, as he gave the thumbs up to the other 3 members of his team. The countdown began. 10, 9, 8, 7.
Oh no! I forgot to take my library book back,
yelled Cheekio.
Well, you will need to do it when we get back,
screamed Ellezina as she hid her eyes in fear. 3, 2, 1, lift off! The rocket began to move with a roar and was suddenly launched into deep space. The rocket made its way through the darkness of space and headed towards the sun on its journey to Venus.
Do we really want to go to Venus?
Asked Cheekio.
It's really hot there, as it's closer to the sun. It's hot enough on Earth, especially in the jungle if there's no shade,
replied Ellezina as she looked out of the rocket window. "Let's go to Mars. It's a little cooler there. I need to get out of this suit. It's a little too tight," wriggled Himakoo in his seat.
That's a good idea. Mars is the perfect place to visit. It's my favourite colour. Red. We should call it the Red Planet,
said a proud Zebgaan. Cheekio grabbed the controls and made a right turn to face the opposite direction and set his navigation controls to reach Mars.
"Mars, here we come,"
shouted Cheekio in excitement. The rocket made its way towards Mars and after a lengthy journey slowly began to descend as it approached the planet. Slowly and gently, the spaceship landed onto the rocky surface of the misty planet.
"The monitor shows that the air is safe to breathe. Therefore, you may take off your spacesuits and disembark and explore with caution,"
said Cheekio as he led the way. One by one, the astronauts climbed out of the rocket and explored the ground for life.
"It's very foggy here. I didn't expect this,"
said Ellezina as she scratched her head. "If there is fog, it means there is water present. If there is air, it means that this planet may support life," said Himakoo as he kicked a rock.
"I don't know if you lot have noticed, but this planet does not appear to be red in colour. And if you look up, there is a big ring circling us,"
exclaimed Zebgaan as he looked up into the sky.
"Cheekio!"
they all shouted.
"We are on Saturn!"
Just as they all calmed down, a huge roar was heard, coming from a cave a few meters away.
"How dare you invade my land?"
roared the beast.
"I am Lizarov Lion, and I am king of this land."
Lizarov was huge. He had a large face with ferocious, sharp teeth and a dark green mane on a large green body with brown eyes. The four animals looked at each other and then quickly ran as fast as they could to escape from the alien. Lizarov gave chase and blew fire from his mouth as he did.
"Oh no! This alien is chasing us, and he has a secret weapon. He can breathe fire!" shouted Cheekio. "It's the worst case of bad breath I've ever seen,"
he added, chuckling as he ran.
"Keep running, everyone, and head towards the rocket,"
screamed Ellezina as she sprinted as fast as she could.
"Oh, wait for me,"
said a panting Himakoo. Zebgaan, who was the fastest of the four astronauts and had many medals to show for it, reached the spaceship first and climbed aboard. He was followed by Cheekio, Ellezina, and finally Himakoo, who just missed being caught by Lizarov as he looked over his shoulder.
"Fire up the engines!"
shouted Himakoo as he closed the rocket door. Cheekio pressed the start button of the rocket, but nothing happened. He tried again, but still nothing happened.
"Hurry up!"
screamed Ellezina.
"The beast is about to set fire to the rocket. The rocket won't ignite. The fuel is flowing, but the spark system has failed. We're doomed,"
panicked Cheekio. Cheekio gave the button one last push, and as he did, Lizarov blew fire from his mouth onto the rocket. Boom! The rocket burst into life, and as it did, the thrust of the engines pushed Lizarov into a pool, which soaked him completely as watched by Ellezina and the others.
"I bet that cooled him down,"
laughed Cheekio. Bang! "Have you heard a word I have said in this lesson?" asked the teacher in a furious tone as he punched the top of his table. "We have a school inspector coming today, and if this is the way you behave, I will be disciplined for your behaviour," said the angry teacher. "Cheekio, what is the nearest planet to the sun?" "Mercury," replied Cheekio in an instant. "Okay, what is the name of the planet in between Earth and Mercury?" asked the teacher curiously. Cheekio thought hard and scratched his chin.
Venice, I think."
The whole class laughed.
"I mean Venus,"
laughed Cheekio. The whole class stopped laughing and stared at the door. In walked the school inspector, who was holding a notebook in her hand and sat down at the back of the classroom. Final question. What is the name of the planet with the ring that circles it?
That's easy,
said Cheekio confidently. It's Saturn. Excellent. You were paying attention, remarked the teacher. Ellezina, Himakoo and Zebgaan looked at Cheekio in amazement.
There is a big green lion that lives there and breathes fire,
responded Cheekio. Report to the headmaster immediately, ordered the teacher as he shook his head. Cheekio left the room. The school inspector that was sitting at the back of the classroom stood up and made her way to the teacher's table. That student was answering every question correctly. Give them a chance and join in with the jokes to make them feel at ease, said the inspector as she wrote on her notebook. And by the way, if you're going to eat sweets in class, please have the decency to place your litter into the bin, said the inspector angrily, as she pointed to the bin, which was surrounded by balls of sweet wrappers. The whole class erupted into laughter. Cheekio Chimp, problem solver.
I really want to go on holiday, somewhere nice and warm this summer,
said Cheekio as he ate his school dinner.
I've already asked my mother and she says as long as my exam results are good, then I will be allowed to go,
replied Ellezina as she took a bite from her apple.
Where is the school trip this year?
asked Himakoo as he read his comic.
I think it's one of the islands over there,
replied Zebgaan as he pointed through the open window. All the friends looked out of the school canteen window and smiled at the prospect of having a fun time together on their annual school trip. School trips were always fun. Cheekio Chimp was always getting into mischief. He was always getting into trouble and getting his friends in trouble too. However, they were all still very close. On last year's school trip, Cheekio shouted, "Man overboard!" and everybody rushed to the edge of the ship and looked into the sea. When the captain realised there was no one in the water, he asked Cheekio why he shouted, "Man overboard!" And Cheekio replied by saying, "I said, man, I'm bored," and chuckled.
Will your mother let you go this year after what you did last time?
asked Himakoo, shaking his head and grinning.
I'm sure she saw the funny side of it,
laughed Cheekio. After their school lunch, the four friends went to their last lessons and then made their way home.
Good luck with your parents, Cheekio.
I hope they give you permission to go on the school trip this year, said Ellezina, giving a thumbs up.
Don't worry, I will be there, no problem,
replied Cheekio and returned the thumbs up.
Hi, Mother. Is Father home?
asked Cheekio as he made his way through the front door.
No, dear,
replied Mother.
I'm just going to tidy my room. Would you like a cup of tea before I clean my room?
asked Cheekio as he made his way upstairs.
No, thanks,
replied Mother.
Are you feeling okay?
she asked in a confused tone.
I'm fine, thanks,
giggled Cheekio as he rubbed his hands. His game plan was unfolding. Cheekio quickly tidied his room. He threw all the clothes that were lying in a heap on the bedroom floor into his cupboard, and all the books, comics and sweets were thrown under his bed.
Perfect! Nice and clean in 2 minutes,
thought Cheekio as he admired his work. Cheekio made his way downstairs and decided it was time. As he made it halfway down, he asked in his best telephone voice the crucial question.
Mother, I've tidied my room, expecting good results at school. Do you think...
Before Cheekio could finish his sentence, his father walked in through the front door and made his way to the kitchen to greet Mother.
I know what you're going to ask, son, and the answer is no,
shouted Mother.
Ask your father,
she added.
Father, would you like a cup of tea? Asked Cheekio as he leaned over the banister and peered into the kitchen from the stairs. Yes, please, replied Father. Can I go on the school trip this year? Asked Cheekio as he pressed his palms. Will you behave? Asked Father from behind the kitchen door. Yes, and I will do anything you ask. Please, Father, you are number one, after Mother, said Cheekio as he fell to his knees and prayed. You can only go if you solve this problem, replied Father. What is the problem? Asked Cheekio as he got to his feet. You have 3 items, a large block of cheese, a mouse and a cat. You have to take the 3 items one at a time from this island to another island. You cannot take more than 1 item at the same time, or your boat will sink. You must keep all the items safe. Do not let the cat eat the mouse, or the mouse eat the cheese. Don't worry, the cat hates cheese. Solve that problem, then I will let you go. That's easy. I will solve it as soon as possible, replied Cheekio, his arms raised high into the air. Cheekio was rushing to school to join his friends and tell them the good news. He had a skip in his step, and he was delighted at the prospect of going to the school trip later that year. I can't wait for the school trip. It's going to be fun, thought Cheekio. Ellezina Elephant, Himakoo Hippo and Zebgaan Zebra were waiting at the school gates as arranged the previous day. What time do you call this? Asked Ellezina as she looked at her watch. Forget the time, smiled Cheekio. Why are you so happy? It's science first lesson. You hate science, said Zebgaan as he scratched his head. Looks like Cheekio got the thumbs up for the school trip, responded Himakoo as he stared at his happy little friend. That's right, I can go, and all I have to do is solve a little problem that my father has given me, replied Cheekio. The 3 friends smiled at Cheekio and congratulated him. What is the problem that needs solving? Asked Himakoo as they all walked towards their classes. Cheekio explained the problem to the 3 friends, who all listened with interest. Take the cat first to the island, said Ellezina confidently. If I do that, then the mouse will eat the cheese, replied Cheekio, shaking his head. Take the cheese first, replied Himakoo, looking pleased. If I do that, then the cat will eat the mouse, replied Cheekio, looking worried. Then you have to take the mouse first. That is the final option, replied Zebgaan, smiling in delight. That's right. That would leave the cat with the cheese, and the cat hates cheese, and all would be safe, said Cheekio as he jumped for joy. But what would I take next? The cat or the cheese? They all thought about it. Morning lessons came and had finished. Lunch came and had finished. Afternoon lessons came and had finished. It was time to go home, and still the 4 friends could not decide which item to take next. If we take the cheese next and go back for the cat, then the mouse will eat the cheese on the other island, so that won't work. If we take the cat next and go back for the cheese, the cat will eat the mouse on the other island, said Cheekio, looking very puzzled. I think your parents have set you a problem that can't be solved. Basically, it's a trick question. It's just a polite way of them saying you can't go on the school trip, replied Himakoo, as he looked to the ground in sympathy. There has to be a way. There has to be a way. There has to be a way, said Cheekio, as he stroked his chin in deep thought. The 4 friends decided to go to the coast and look at the views of all the islands. It was a beautiful day. The sun was shining. The birds were singing in the trees. The wind whistled through the jungle. I guess I will be going somewhere local, while all of you go on the school trip, said Cheekio, as he threw a pebble across the deep blue sea. The pebble bounced once on the sea surface and then disappeared from sight, just like Cheekio's school trip. Don't worry, I'm sure if we all put our minds to it, we will solve the problem, reassured Ellezina.
All four friends looked as far as they could into the sea and beyond. They counted many islands. There was a very small one, two larger ones, and one very large island. On a dry day when the tide was out, the friends used to walk to the smallest of the islands and have a picnic. But today the tide was in, and all they could do was throw pebbles into the sea. A boat nearby was very old and would not hold everyone. Suddenly, there was a very large splash in the sea. "Who threw that large pebble into the sea?" asked Cheekio as he looked at his friends.
I did.
The four friends turned around, and facing them was their arch-enemy, Lizarov Lion. He was huge. He had a large mane on a large face, with evil green eyes, sharp teeth, and razor claws.
Finally, I have all four. You cannot run from me now,
roared Lizarov. "Please, we are at your mercy. Don't harm us, your highness," quivered Ellezina. The four friends were trapped between the sea and Lizarov. There was no way of escape. This was another problem that needed to be solved, and Lizarov was not going to be helping. "Rather than attacking all of us, would you accept a challenge?" begged Cheekio.
What kind of challenge?
roared Lizarov. "If we take this boat to that small island and have our fight there, then whoever wins can come back and the loser has to stay there until the tide goes out," said Cheekio as he pointed to the old boat. Lizarov thought about it and immediately accepted the challenge. Everyone climbed into the boat and the boat began to sink.
Somebody get off!
roared Lizarov. Ellezina, the largest of the animals, got off, but the boat was still too heavy.
Somebody else get off!
roared Lizarov. "I will get off," replied Cheekio as he made his way out of the boat.
Stop right there!
roared Lizarov as he pinned Cheekio to the floor of the rotten boat.
"I will get out,"
said Himakoo, the second largest of the four friends. Zebgaan began to row the boat. He did not want Cheekio to row, as he knew that his little friend needed all the energy in the world to fight Lizarov. Eventually, they reached the small island. Lizarov skipped over the shallow water by the beach and began to stretch his limbs in preparation for the battle.
That's better. I am now ready for this so-called challenge,
laughed Lizarov. Lizarov looked around at Cheekio and watched in disbelief at the two friends rowing as fast as they could back to the jungle. Eventually, they joined their friends back at the jungle coast and jumped around in joy and waved to Lizarov, who could only look on in shock. "I solved the problem," chuckled Cheekio. "What do you mean?" asked Zebgaan. "On the first trip, you take the mouse and leave the cat and cheese behind. All three are safe. On the next trip, you take the cat, but on that trip, you bring the mouse back with you. On the next trip, you take the cheese and leave the mouse behind. The cheese and the cat are now on the small island. Finally, you go back for the mouse. Problem solved," laughed Cheekio as he made a fist pump. "That's excellent! School trip is going ahead!" screamed Ellezina. "What about poor Lizarov? How will he get back?" she added. "Let him enjoy his little holiday on that island. He can walk back when the tide is out, in 10 hours, laughed Cheekio. All the friends laughed and waved at Lizarov. The end. Never seems to be anything decent on TV these days. It's always documentaries or news, and it's always bad news, moaned Cheekio as he flicked through the channels. Why can't they make proper programmes? He continued. Cheekio Chimp held the remote control in his hand and pointed it at the TV. Each time he pressed the button, he nodded in disgust and uttered the words, "Rubbish! Rubbish! Rubbish!" Cheekio was just about to give up when he suddenly saw a tiger writhing in pain. "I wonder what's going on here?" Cheekio asked himself. "Maybe he had a bad lunch," he chuckled. Cheekio continued to watch the program with interest. The camera zoomed in on the tiger, and it was then apparent the poor tiger was injured and in a great deal of pain. Then a voice said, "Just another example of how the poor defenseless animals of the jungle are being treated by the evilest predators on earth, humans."
"That is absolutely disgusting," said Cheekio in disbelief. "Who would do this kind of thing, and why?"
asked Cheekio as he shrugged his shoulders. "This is the work of the hunter, and all in the name of sport," replied the voice on TV. Cheekio looked confused.
"I don't know which is more shocking, the injured tiger or the man on TV that just answered my question,"
thought Cheekio as he scratched his head. Just then, Cheekio's phone made a bleep to signify a message. Cheekio checked his phone and scrolled down to the messages.
"Whoa, I almost forgot I need to get going, as that was a reminder from my dear friend Ellezina to meet up at the pool,"
muttered Cheekio as he made for the front door. Ellezina Elephant looked at her phone and noted that Cheekio had read the message she had sent a few moments ago. "Cheekio should be on his way," said Ellezina as she put her phone away. "He is always late," replied Himakoo Hippo, nodding his head.
"Up to mischief, no doubt,"
said Zebgaan as he stared back into the darkness of the jungle. The three friends were waiting patiently for Cheekio by the pool as usual. It was a beautiful day on a warm, sunny afternoon. Suddenly, the pleasant scene was replaced with carnage. The birds flew from the trees, and animals of all sizes and descriptions began to stampede past the pool and towards the jungle.
"Run for your lives!"
The three friends looked up into the trees, and swinging from a low branch was Cheekio, screaming,
"Run!"
Ellezina, Himakoo and Zebgaan ran as fast as they could in the same direction as the other animals that had fled. Himakoo and Ellezina, the slowest of the three, were tiring very quickly. Zebgaan was way ahead. Cheekio kept an eye on the chaser from the safety of the trees. In the distance, Cheekio could see a familiar image charging towards Himakoo and Ellezina.
"Oh no!"
shrieked Cheekio.
"It's Lizarov!"
The ferocious Lizarov Lion normally looked very fierce, but today he looked concerned. He quickly caught up with the two large, slow friends and roared,
"Out of my way!"
Then he overtook the two animals, who looked at each other in amazement. "Who is he looking for today, if it's not us?" asked Ellezina as she caught her breath. "Maybe he's chasing Zebgaan," replied Himakoo as he collapsed to the floor in exhaustion.
"He's not chasing anyone. Lizarov is the one being chased,"
replied Cheekio as he pointed towards the pool. Cheekio climbed down the tree and joined his friends Ellezina and Himakoo, who were hiding in some bushes. They could hear the roar of the predator that was chasing Lizarov, but were unable to see because of all the dust that had blown into the air when it stopped suddenly. Once the dust began to settle, they could see the huge beast. It had two large eyes that were shining brightly, four muddy wheels, and a body made of armor of the strongest metal. It was a jeep. Within the jeep was someone holding a pair of binoculars, scanning the area. "Who is that?" asked Ellezina as she peered over the bush. "I have never seen it before," whispered Himakoo nervously.
"I know who it is. I saw it on TV earlier today, and it's the most feared predator on Earth, a human."
"A human? He doesn't look very frightening or fierce like Lizarov Lion," replied Ellezina. "That hat, single eyeglass and moustache makes him look ridiculous," Himakoo sniggered.
"In the program, the human injured a large tiger. He must have some strength,"
confirmed Cheekio. The human put away his binoculars, turned his vehicle around, and drove off in the direction he came. Again, the dust masked his retreat, and once settled, he had disappeared.
We need to be extra careful. I will keep an eye out when I'm up in the trees until he leaves, said Cheekio.
The three friends agreed, and moments later, Zebgaan, who was hiding in the tall grass, joined them and was informed of the hunter. The next day, the four friends planned to go on a search for the hunter. Cheekio was high up in the trees, Zebgaan walked through the tall grass which camouflaged him from sight, and Ellezina and Himakoo walked shoulder to shoulder, weaving in and out of the trees and bushes. It was very quiet, not a single sound from the jungle. The only sound that could be heard was Cheekio swinging from branch to branch, and the rustling of Zebgaan in the tall grass. Ellezina and Himakoo were silent as they tiptoed onwards. In the distance, they could see Lizarov Lion making his way to a clearing in the jungle. Just above him was a huge cage dangling under the branch of a tree. It was being suspended by a rope, which was tied behind the tree. Also behind the tree was a dark, shadowy figure. Suddenly, a large crashing sound was heard, and then a mighty roar.
How dare you do this to me? I am king of the jungle,
roared Lizarov. Lizarov was trapped in the cage which had fallen on top of him. Someone had cut the rope. It was the hunter.
Oh no, the hunter's trapped Lizarov,
shrieked Ellezina.
Is that good or bad news?
Whispered Himakoo.
Lizarov is a member of the jungle family. Despite our differences, he is still our king,
replied Zebgaan as he emerged from the tall grass.
We have to help poor Lizarov Lion,
demanded Cheekio as he thought of a plan.
We have to lure the hunter away from the cage and then release Lizarov,
suggested Cheekio. I wonder if he likes cookies, asked Ellezina. Oh, don't be silly. He is a hunter. He wants more than cookies. I wouldn't mind one, though, replied Himakoo as he drawled.
There's no time for a picnic. Let's save Lizarov,
snapped Zebgaan. Cheekio ordered Himakoo to dig a hole and Ellezina to fetch some twigs and branches. Once the hole was dug, Ellezina covered it with the twigs and small branches. Finally, Zebgaan covered the hole with leaves.
Perfect! Now let's get the plan into action,
said Cheekio and gave the thumbs up. The hunter was in his jeep and was keeping guard of his prize. Lizarov was pacing inside the cage, feeling helpless in his temporary home. Cheekio had swung to the tree that had the cage attached to it and kept his eye on the hunter. Yoo-hoo! Shouted Zebgaan. The hunter looked up from his jeep and then jumped out of it and ran towards Zebgaan. Zebgaan began to run. The hunter was chasing. Zebgaan could see the hole that was covered with leaves. He looked over his shoulder and slowed down and could see the hunter not too far behind. Once the hunter was only a few inches away, Zebgaan jumped over the hole. The hunter slipped on the leaves and disappeared from sight. He had fallen into the trap. Cheekio tied the rope to Ellezina's trunk.
Pull!
Shouted Cheekio. Pull! Shouted Lizarov. Slowly the cage rose and eventually Lizarov was free.
Where is that rogue? How dare he try to capture me?
Roared Lizarov. They all headed towards the hole. Looking up at the 5 animals was the hunter, covered in mud.
How does that feel?
Laughed Cheekio as he pointed at the angry hunter.
Get me out!
Shouted the hunter.
On one condition, you leave the jungle, never to return, demanded Cheekio.
The hunter agreed. They threw the rope in the hole and Ellezina pulled him to the top. The hunter got into his jeep and drove off into the distance.
I have to say a big thank you,
said Lizarov as he shook each of the friends' hands. Let's have a photo together, he continued. They all agreed. Lizarov placed his camera phone onto a rock and set the timer for a group photograph. He returned to the group and stood in front of his new friends and stared back at the camera phone.
Say cheese, everyone,
said Lizarov. Moments later, Lizarov returned to the phone camera to see the photo.
You rotten scoundrels,
roared Lizarov. The only person in the photo was Lizarov. All you could see of the 4 friends was their legs as they ran off.
The end. Cheekio Chimp was running as fast as he could. Every few strides he would look back over his shoulder to determine if the balance of safety was in his grasp. Cheekio weaved in and out of the bushes, jumped over streams, and reached for the low branches and vines that hung like lifelines throughout the jungle.
I am going to catch you and teach you a lesson,
roared Lizarov.
I hope it's not a science lesson,
laughed Cheekio as he looked back at the ferocious beast. Lizarov Lion was a menacing sight. He was huge, had large fangs and claws that were designed for one thing only, and today they had Cheekio's name on them. Following from a safe distance were Cheekio's friends, Ellezina Elephant, Himakoo Hippo, and Zebgaan Zebra.
I hope he outruns Lizarov,
said Ellezina as she gasped for air.
Cheekio just needs to find the right tree and climb out of reach,
panted Himakoo.
He won't outrun Lizarov, but he might outsmart him, replied Zebgaan.
Lizarov was gaining on Cheekio and reached out with his huge paw with claws showing. Just as Lizarov went to strike the cheeky little monkey, Cheekio made a leap and grasped a branch, and in a flash was halfway up the tree. Lizarov skidded and came to a stop just a few yards from the pool.
I will get you next time,
roared Lizarov as he stared at Cheekio from the foot of the tree.
You say that every time,
Cheekio chuckled. Lizarov watched Cheekio swing from tree to tree and disappear from sight.
Mother, the bath is blocked again. What should I do?
shouted Cheekio from the bathroom upstairs.
Use the plunger, darling,
replied Mother, who was busy cooking breakfast downstairs. Cheekio was already running late for school, so he placed the plunger in the bath and began to pump the water away. Cheekio applied a lot of pressure to speed matters up and eventually snapped the small wooden pole.
Oh no!
shouted Cheekio as he inspected the damage.
Mother, the plunger is broken. I'm sorry,
said Cheekio as he made his way downstairs.
Don't worry. Get it repaired at the DIY store and get a spare one too on your way back from school today,
replied Mother from behind the kitchen door. Cheekio quickly guzzled his breakfast and drank his favourite drink, banana milkshake, in one large gulp. On his way out the front door, Cheekio quickly glanced at the long mirror that was hanging on the wall beside the front door.
That moustache suits me,
said Cheekio as he admired the white froth that lay on his top lip.
Maybe next time,
said Cheekio as he wiped off the milkshake. Outside were Ellezina, Himakoo and Zebgaan, and they all made their way to school. The four friends sat down in the classroom and opened their books to the page requested by the teacher. The tree that you see in front of you is often found in South America and is known to grow in Chile and Argentina. It is a beautiful tree and is known as the monkey puzzle.
Monkey puzzle?
said Cheekio in astonishment. Why is it called that? He added. It is known as the monkey puzzle because there isn't a monkey on this planet that can climb it, replied the teacher as she held the book in the air showing the tree.
I can climb any tree,
boasted Cheekio and stood up. Maybe this is one that is just too hard, said Ellezina as she studied the picture of the tree. The monkey puzzle tree had no low branches and the leaves looked sharp and prickly.
If that so-called monkey puzzle was in this jungle, I would climb it every day,
said Cheekio. I thought you might say that, Mr. Cheekio Chimp, replied teacher. I have a task for you. There is a monkey puzzle tree planted beyond all other trees in the jungle. It is located near the pool. If you can find it, climb it, then I will believe you, said the teacher.
No problem. I love a challenge,
replied Cheekio
as he rubbed his palms together in delight. The teacher reached into her desk and pulled out a flag. Place this red flag on the highest point of the tree, and that will be the proof that you made it to the top, said the teacher. Sure, that's right up my tree, laughed Cheekio. The 4 friends were quickly making their way to the jungle. Cheekio was being very impatient as he was delayed at the DIY store and wanted to show that he was true to his word when it came to tree climbing. I can't wait to place this flag on that tree and prove there is no such thing as a puzzle that a monkey can't climb, said Cheekio as he checked his bag for the flag. Where is that tree? wondered Cheekio. It's beyond all the trees. That's what the teacher said, replied Ellezina. I think it's near the pool, pointed Himakoo. We will look from the ground and you climb the trees and see if you can see the monkey puzzle from up there, suggested Zebgaan. Cheekio climbed a tree and began to look as far as he could towards the pool, but he saw nothing. He began to swing from tree to tree and kept looking, but still there was no monkey puzzle in sight. Maybe teacher was playing a prank on me, shouted Cheekio from a treetop. The 3 friends looked up at Cheekio and began to laugh. I think you're right. That tree only grows in South America, remember? Grinned Ellezina. Just then, Cheekio began to gaze into the distance. Beyond the trees in the jungle was a clearing, and beyond that was a pool. Sitting on its own was a tree. It was a tree that Cheekio had never seen before. It was just like the picture in the book at school. It was the monkey puzzle. Cheekio climbed down the tree and gestured towards the new find. Follow me, said Cheekio with excitement in his voice. The 3 friends followed Cheekio. They looked at each other and wondered where Cheekio was leading them. Eventually, the darkness of the jungle disappeared and was replaced by the sunlight in the clearing. The 4 friends looked back at the jungle. The trees swayed in the warm air. Beyond the trees, they saw a pool. It was not the usual pool they went to on a hot day to cool off. This was a new pool. Next to the pool was what they were all looking for. It's so beautiful, said Ellezina as she admired the tree. It's not the tallest tree I have ever seen. Maybe climbing it would not be so difficult after all, said Himakoo as he circled the tree. There are no low branches, nothing to hold on to. How are you going to climb it? Asked Zebgaan. I don't know. Anyway, the leaves and thorns look as sharp as Lizarov's claws, replied Cheekio as he scratched his head in deep thought. My claws are sharper. The 4 friends did not even look around to see who had just roared. The voice was a familiar one. It was from their arch-enemy, Lizarov Lion. Lizarov circled the 4 friends. He was very angry. Cheekio was always playing pranks on Lizarov and was always escaping from his claws. Where are you going to run, little one? There are no trees for you to climb here, and I know you won't be able to climb this one, roared Lizarov. Suddenly, without warning, Lizarov pounced at Cheekio. Ellezina, Himakoo and Zebgaan ran towards the jungle and after a safe distance hid in the bushes. They looked back and saw Cheekio run around the monkey puzzle tree with Lizarov chasing. Every so often, Cheekio would try to grip the trunk of the tree, but was unable to, and the branches were too high. Lizarov was closing in. Cheekio reached into his bag and threw a schoolbook at Lizarov, but missed. Lots of dust was being generated by the chase, and the last thing the 3 friends saw was Cheekio throw another book at Lizarov. It was a direct hit. Lizarov was thrown off balance and skidded on the ground, throwing more dust into the air. Lizarov slowly got to his feet, and once the dust settled, Cheekio had disappeared. Where are you? Roared Lizarov. There was no familiar, cheeky reply. Eventually, Lizarov gave up and decided to walk back into the jungle with his head down in defeat. He passed the three friends, but did not notice them cowering behind the bushes. Once Lizarov was out of sight, the three friends made their way towards the monkey puzzle tree.
I wonder where Cheekio is,
said Ellezina, looking confused.
Maybe Lizarov caught him. I couldn't see for dust,
replied Himakoo as he wiped a tear from his eye. What is that? On top of the monkey puzzle tree, pointed Zebgaan. They all looked up and could not believe their eyes. There, on the top of the tree, waving about in the wind, was the red flag. Next to the red flag was Cheekio, standing tall and proud, which was quite a feat for a small monkey.
How did you get up there?
asked Ellezina. The same way I am going to get down, replied Cheekio. Cheekio reached into his bag, pulled out the 2 plungers that he had collected from the DIY store, and pushed them onto the trunk of the tree. He slowly and carefully climbed down the tree, using the plungers as suction to support his weight. Within seconds, he was back on the ground with his friends.
Monkey puzzle? It's no puzzle to me,
screamed Cheekio as he pulled the thorns from his hands and feet. The 3 friends burst out in laughter. The end. A kind of magic. I wonder how they do their stuff, wondered Cheekio as he lay on his bed reading his book of magic. Cheekio turned page after page and looked on in amazement at all the magic tricks that were on display.
Surely they are all tricks. Magic isn't real. Or is it?
thought Cheekio as he threw his book onto his bed and stared at his bedroom mirror.
I can't hang about here too long or I will be late for school. Once again.
Just then there was a knock on the front door. Cheekio Chimp rushed down the stairs and grabbed a cereal bar from the kitchen cupboard before rushing out to meet his friends, Ellezina Elephant, Himakoo Hippo, and Zebgaan Zebra. There you are, said Ellezina impatiently as she stared at Cheekio from behind her glasses. Busy reading your magic books? She asked.
Oh, need to be quick. It's double PE first thing this morning,
remarked Himakoo.
We will only make it on time if we jog a little of the way, replied Zebgaan. If only we had a magic carpet, we would get there in no time, laughed Cheekio. I love this class. Play everything. PE is my favourite subject, said Cheekio as he climbed the high ropes.
It means physical education, silly,
replied Ellezina as she shook her head and made her way to the floor mats. I love PE too, said Zebgaan as he jogged on the spot. But I prefer to be outdoors on the track. I just love to run, he added. Oh, I'm not a big fan of PE, replied Himakoo. I prefer art. It's so soothing and peaceful. The PE teacher blew her whistle and made everyone jump with fright. Today we are going to do circuit training, she said. There are going to be 4 stations, and on each station there will be a different exercise. The duration will be 1 minute per exercise, and then you move on to the next station. The 4 friends looked at each other and made their way to the stations. The teacher blew her whistle to indicate the start of the circuit training. On Station 1, Cheekio began to do push-ups. Station 2 was mountain climbs, a difficult exercise for many, but one that was especially difficult for Ellezina. Station 3 was jogging on the spot, which Zebgaan loved. And finally, on Station 4, Himakoo struggled with star jumps. After several minutes, the teacher blew her whistle again. 5 more minutes, she shouted with a grin as she watched the class huffing and puffing in exhaustion.
I wish I could make her disappear,
puffed Cheekio as he whispered to Ellezina.
I think we should all start going to the gym after school. Our fitness levels are very poor,
puffed a very tired Ellezina, her glasses resting on the tip of her nose.
I agree,
replied Zebgaan. Oh, do we have to? Replied Himakoo as he lay on his back with his eyes closed. Cheekio placed his water bottle into his bag and added a jar of honey as a refreshing treat for after his workout. He swung from tree to tree as he headed to the gym to join his friends. As he approached the gym, he accidentally knocked into a beehive and disturbed all the bees inside. The angry bees chased Cheekio, and he was only saved by the revolving door at the gym that separated him from the insects.
Oh, that was close,
said Cheekio as he looked over his shoulder at the yellow and white swarm beyond the door. The gym was full. Everyone who was keen on being fit was there. There were so many weights of different shapes and sizes. There were many machines. The machines were designed for every muscle group. Which exercise should we do first? Asked Ellezina, who looked confused at the vast range of equipment on display. I feel like lifting weights, replied Himakoo as he flexed his muscles.
I want to use the climbing wall. It makes me feel at home,
laughed Cheekio as he stared to the top of the wall. Let's all start with the treadmills, replied Zebgaan. Once we are warmed up, we can then proceed to the other equipment, he added as he stretched his legs. They all made their ways to the treadmills and began to run. Zebgaan was the best runner and was running with ease. Cheekio was comfortable when he ran, but preferred to climb. Ellezina and Himakoo, the largest of the four friends, struggled but kept on running. They may have been large, but they were also very strong. Once the four had finished running, they made their way to the cross trainer. Thereafter, they rode the stationary bike, followed by the rowing machine.
That was great,
said Cheekio as he got up from the rowing machine.
Let's all finish with some weight training,
he added as he wiped his forehead with the back of his hand. They all marched towards the weights area. Oh, let's start with the bench press. I love to lift weights, said Himakoo.
That's fine. I will go first, replied Cheekio. After every exercise, add a little more weight. I want to see if I can break my record,
laughed Cheekio as he stared into the mirror and admired his physique. Cheekio began to lift the weight.
1, 2, 3,
he said.
8, 9, 10,
he finished.
Add more weight. I feel strong,
said Cheekio as he concentrated on the task ahead. Himakoo added some more weight and they all gathered closely and watched. Cheekio closed his eyes and continued.
1, 2, 3,
counted Cheekio, his eyes closed in deep concentration.
8, 9, and 10,
screamed Cheekio as the weights crashed down.
Add some more weight,
shouted Cheekio. Clink, clink, the sound of metal on metal as the weights were added. Cheekio pushed with all his strength and his eyes remained shut in deep concentration. But the weights would not budge. He took a deep breath and pushed again. Still, the weights rested.
What's going on?
Demanded Cheekio as he gasped for breath.
What's the matter? This gym is not for wimps like you.
Cheekio opened his eyes and quickly realized that his three friends were not there. Instead, facing him was a very large beast. It was Lizarov Lion. Lizarov circled the machine where Cheekio lay. Cheekio was frozen to the bench and dared not move. In the corner of his eye, he could see Ellezina, Himakoo and Zebgaan hiding behind the vending machine.
How dare you come into my gym, you feeble little monkey, roared Lizarov.
I only came to get fit, Your Highness. I did not know this was your gym, replied Cheekio as he slowly got up from the bench.
Everything is mine. I am king of the jungle, and I own everything that is in it, snapped Lizarov as he pointed out of the window. I am going to teach you a lesson you will never forget. I haven't forgotten the way you humiliated me once before. when you painted me pink,
roared Lizarov as he looked at himself admirably in the mirror. Cheekio looked at his friends, cowering, and chuckled quietly. "Please don't hurt me, Your Highness. I have a gift for you that will make you stronger," said Cheekio as he reached into his bag.
What can you give me that I have not got already?
Roared Lizarov. Carefully, Cheekio removed the label from the honey jar and showed it to Lizarov.
What is this?
Asked Lizarov as he examined the jar. Let me show you, replied Cheekio nervously as his friends looked on. Can you lift me up? Asked Cheekio.
Of course I can,
replied Lizarov in astonishment. Lizarov lifted Cheekio without any effort.
There, satisfied?
Boasted Lizarov. Cheekio tried to open the jar, but was unable to do so as it was tightly shut. Can you open the jar, please? Asked Cheekio, looking ashamed.
Piece of cake,
replied Lizarov as he opened the jar without any effort. Cheekio rubbed some of the contents onto his hands and then asked Lizarov to lift him again. To Lizarov's amazement, he was unable to lift Cheekio. Lizarov tried and tried, but he could not lift Cheekio even by an inch. The three friends emerged from their hiding place and watched the event unfolding.
Give that to me,
said Lizarov as he reached for the jar and began to cover himself in the sticky honey.
This is going to make me stronger,
he roared as he pushed by all the four friends and headed out towards the jungle. What was in the jar? Asked Ellezina as she watched Lizarov walk into the jungle outside. It was only honey, laughed Cheekio. But what just happened? How did Lizarov not manage to lift you? Asked Himakoo as he scratched his head. Was it magic? Asked Zebgaan, looking confused. When Lizarov lifted me the first time, it was easy. But when he lifted me the second time, after I put honey onto my hands, pretending it had magical power, he was lifting me and the heavy barbell, as I had my tail wrapped around the bar as he lifted me, laughed Cheekio. It was a kind of magic, chuckled Cheekio, as they all headed out of the gym. In the distance, they could see Lizarov running and screaming, chased by a swarm of angry bees. They all erupted into laughter. The end.